Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is January the 13th, 2021, and today's topic is You're Sadly Mistaken. Um, yeah, I woke up early this morning. I just kind of laid in the bed a bit before I woke up like hours early um, than my alarm. And so, yeah, I tend to just kind of stay in bed. I did have those little moments of like, maybe God is trying to tell me something if I can't sleep at night. And I wonder why. No, I went to bed. I don't know what time I went to bed, but yeah, I woke up around, I want to say around 1. But um, I found it interesting. Okay, let me share this with you guys. So the other day, I watched this video of Marcus Rogers, and he was saying how like he had this dream, and then he also paid attention to the time he woke up, and he ended up reading a Bible verse. He looked up the numbers from the time he woke up and found the Bible verses that pretty much coincided with his dream as a confirmation. And I was like, wow, I never thought about that. you know, Me waking up at a certain time could be, a sign for me to be studying or something, or to look into the Bible. And that did cross my mind this morning, but by the time it did cross my mind, I didn't remember the exact time that I woke up, so I just tended to do what I usually do when I wake up early, which is just either browse on, social media and just kind of play this little game, or maybe sometimes I'll watch a show or read a story or something like that. But yeah. But yeah, hopefully, next time or whenever I'm supposed to, whatever the case is, I'll be reminded to check that out. I mean, I just think it's very interesting the way that God can speak to us in the different ways and things like that. Um, I guess with that being said, well, long story short, since I'm on this little train, um, I did a workout warm up situation, but it was like my old school one. Um, because I ended up just wanting to jam a bit to some of that Montel Fish. I've been shouting him out for the past few months now, but yeah, I was jamming to him this morning and did my warm out, warm out, warm up workout. um, Not as detailed as the Faith Fit app, but um, it was nice to kind of, I guess, take that little mental break and still focusing on God, though. Montel Fish's worship music, but yeah, just kind of do a little something different. And then after that, did my prayer and meditation, and that kind of got me thinking about, of course, it seems like there's a bit of a series going on with the I'm not Faith Fit app, with the Soul Space app, where they're kind of talking about purpose. And so it got me thinking a little bit about that. And it did have another prompt about making a list about, you know, uh, what do I think God's purpose is, and like what am I currently doing, and I gonna what can I work towards, things like that. But as I was sitting there listening to the prayer meditation this morning, thinking about my purpose and just, I felt having a beautiful moment with God. I just kept having little maybe distractions or distracting thoughts. So I'm welcoming God into the time of the meditation, and I'm just saying good morning and all that stuff. And then the little thought comes in my mind like, man, like what if I'm crazy? What if this whole thing in regards to the Bible and you know that little bit of doubt, that comes into your mind. And I mean, I'm honest. I think I've shared this with you all before. I mean, I'm honest that these thoughts come to my mind every now and then. I feel like they're more of a distraction than anything. I don't think it wavers my faith in a way where I'm like, oh no, yeah, no, there's no God or whatever the case is. Um, But I mean, I'll be honest and say I'm a human, and those thoughts come to my mind, and so here I am trying to pray and meditate, and I'm saying good morning, Lord, and the little fleeting thought of what if this is crazy, or what if there is no God, or whatever the case is. But again, I know that Bible verse that's like, a man says in his heart that there is no God is a fool type of that verse or whatever. So I'm trying to be careful about that because I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to say that at all. I do believe that there's a God and a creator, and I am a creation, and there is purpose for my life. Um, I don't believe that everything just happened by chance and we all just got here from nothing, and that doesn't make sense to me. So, but I'll be honest and say doubt can creep in or whatever the case is. So that was one of the first things during my prayer and meditation that I noticed. Then I want to say as the more I listen to the prompts and like the things that the lady is sharing in the prayer meditation, it's like I had a beautiful moment of like, wow, God, it's wonderful how you've created all of us. And, in my mind, I was like, man, we're like, each and every one of us is like a unique piece of art. You know what I mean? Like, we're so unique, we're so different. Um, Even twins are different. It's just like, and that's such a beautiful thought to think, like, how much detail God put into us. And but then the other fleeting thought was like, I don't know if it was I don't I don't know what reminded me of it, but um just thinking about like people that like God has created us in this path and this beautiful purpose for all of us. But at the end of the day we have free will and we can do whatever we want with it, right? So we don't have to, like, God's created this path and purpose, but we have the free will to walk in it, you know? And knowing that some people choose to take the route of evil, um, whether they're doing evil things to other people, doing things to themselves, um, whatever the case is. And it's like, and that kind of saddened me a bit to think about while I'm trying to sit here and pray and meditate about the beautiful things, you know what I mean? And in purpose, that was another fleeting thought of mine that came across my mind this morning. Like, man, as much beauty as there is in the world, there's this ugly side too, and everything. And then, I mean, part of that got me thinking about death. But then, even in death, it's like, I mean, well, to be honest, it made me think about life and think about, like, I mean, I think I'll share with you guys the other day how that little boy Hope really touched me to see him in that video the other day. And I try not to even keep thinking about him because, like, if my mind goes back to that video, I'm just like, I get emotional. Um, and it's interesting because some friends of mine were kind of chit-chatting about funeral arrangements and, death and all these things yesterday. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, I mean, I've shared with you guys before about my whole thing about death and stuff and how I feel like I might be a little weird. Like, how I, like, in regards to death and me being emotional about it. I understand that, people grieve and stuff like that, and people grieve differently. So I guess my grieving sometimes, like, if I'm taking some information in on my own thus far, you know what I'm saying, thus far, um, then it's like I tend not to look at it from an emotional way. But then it's like if I come around the people and if I come around the others and we're all, reflecting on a person, and then I'm you know, seeing someone else grieve and all these things, then that's something that hits me. So in regards to death and stuff, right? But then I'm sitting here thinking about, again, like a child, when thinking about the whole human trafficking situation. But in particular, if I think about Hope, when I think about that video, that little boy, um, And I really truly just thought about, man, this is a child. Like, he's not even 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe not even, my son's, like, he looks like my son's size in regards to his height. So I'm like, was he 2 or 3, and this little baby is so malnourished and there's so many people around him, but no one's helping, you know what I mean? Like, because I guess they feel like he's something about him is evil or whatever. I don't know all the details about like other countries and how they do stuff or whatever. But that's the story, the little bit of the story that I read is that people, the family left the child, or the family abandoned the child because they thought the child was a witch or something. I don't know. But anyway, uh so yeah, the beautiful things in life, y'all, and then the ugly, you know what I mean? The good, bad, and the ugly. um so after all of that, y'all, I guess I share all this to say I'm sharing this because I'm about the process of my process this morning in regards to me coming to you all with this message of you're sadly mistaken. I know y'all like, where did that come from out of all of this? So basically, after that prayer and meditation, there's a few things that came into my mind that I thought I was, a couple of I guess ideas if you want to say them like that, but a couple of things came into my mind about perhaps topics. But then as I was, looking up verses and stuff, it just, again, wasn't resonating and wasn't being confirmed, I guess, in my heart and mind and spirit or whatever. And so I just was like, I just took a moment and I just was like, just closed my eyes and I'm just like, Lord, I just really want to hear. Like, I don't, let me know which way we going or how we doing it. So then, believe it or not, it's like I felt, I heard, however you want to interpret it for you to understand. I don't know how you understand it, but all I know is in my mind, in my heart, I heard Psalms 119:21. And at first I'm over here like, is this a real verse? No, because on one hand I'm like, okay, I know there's a lot of Psalms, so I was like 119 might be accurate, but then I was like, well, what if there's like a 119:20? You know what I mean? Like, what if there's no 21? Like I said, that doubt tried to creep in, right? So I go and look it up. So there is a 119:21, and here it is right here. It says, "Thou hast rebuked the proud that are cursed, which do err from thy commandments." That's what Psalms 119:21 says. And I was like, oh, okay. But as I was reading the word which is ERR, that word stood out to me the most in the verse as I was reading. And so I read it a couple of times and then I looked up the definition. Now, the definition that I found originally was a slightly different, which was a little bit confusing than the one that I'm going to give you guys now. But yeah, so basically the definition of the word err, EER, or excuse me, ERR, is to go astray in thought or belief, be mistaken, be incorrect. Yeah, so so then I started to look up Bible verses regarding error, ERR, and yeah, I got a couple more verses for y'all this morning. So that's how I came to the topic. You're sadly mistaken. I think it's interesting to think about this. I guess thinking about this in general when it comes to the Bible, when it comes to God, when it comes to our interpretations of life and all these things, perhaps, God is sharing with us today through little old me that we are sadly mistaken about like our interpretations of all those things. But hey, I don't know. I'm just going to share with you guys these verses. So, Matthew 22:29 says, "But Jesus answered them, You are wrong, because you know neither scriptures nor the power of God." I was like, oh, Oh, you snapping right now. Oh. He's like, he's like, you're wrong because you don't know the scripture and you don't know the power of God. I'm over here like, okay. The next verse I came across is John 3:12. It says, if I have told you earthly things and you do not believe, how can you believe if I tell you heavenly things? Oh, y'all, we can let them marinate by themselves. I don't know about you, but I'm like, oh, Lord. You right. Okay. I mean, oh, perhaps this ain't funny at all, honestly. This probably not funny at all, but at the same time, too, again, for me to just read stuff and to really imagine it, like imagine Jesus saying this to us as any human would say. Um, I think that's what makes it funny to me because it's like, okay, so you think you know stuff, but look, you don't really know anything because you don't know the scripture and you don't know power of God. It's like, oh, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what makes it funny to me. I apologize for laughing. I know I don't know, but I just think it's like amazing. You know what I mean? Like, just God and the whole thing. But anyway, this is another verse I'm going to share with you guys. It's John 5:39. It says, you search the scriptures because you think that in them you have eternal life, and it is they that bear witness about me. So, I mean, honestly, like I said before, it's just amazing to me what people believe, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's like I don't understand, and I try my best to understand, but I don't understand like how people can read the Bible and then make their own assumptions about stuff. Like, 'cause some stuff is just very plain, you know what I'm saying, about like what it says, so, I mean, I guess my thing is, right, if you're going to read the Bible, right, and you're going to believe it, or if you're going to choose not to believe it, then, I mean, now I'm not suggesting that you choose not to believe it. I think we probably should, you probably should, believe it, because I just feel like there's a lot that not only it reveals, but then when we see all these things happening, like the things that we see will make more sense it makes more sense for Bible believers, you know what I'm saying? In my humble opinion. That's just me though. But if you're somebody that's like, oh, okay, I read what that said and I don't believe it, whatever. I think, okay, this is just a personal thought now. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to say nothing one way or another. And I just think it's a personal thought that, me, I really appreciate truth and honesty. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get sometimes that truth hurts, but you don't have to hurt people with the truth, but that's a whole nother conversation. Truth and love is always best, but I just think if you are someone that's proclaiming to be a Christian, but you're not just practicing the Bible, but like if your life doesn't reflect the Bible, you know what I mean, or reflect, Christ, it's like, don't play, you know what I'm saying? Just be like, you know what? I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to get people to, I don't know. I don't know, should I say? You want me to say, Lord? Should I say it? Why am I so hesitant to say this? I don't know. Let me think about it some more. But, yeah, I mean, I got a few verses for you all to think about with the Go Deeper section today. I know I've shared these verses before in the Go Deeper section, I feel, or throughout the juice. All this time I've been doing the juice, I know I've probably shared these verses before. But I think maybe we should come to the Bible with a blank slate. Like, not say forget what you heard, but kind of, like forget what you heard. Like try to come, like can you come to the Bible and the Word with a fresh slate, like just with the mindset of, you know what, I heard things about what people say the Bible says, or I heard this or I heard that. I'm going to just read it for myself with a blank slate and see what God do. Now, and then from there, then you can, get amongst other Bible believing people and have conversations and all that good stuff, and get some guidance in regards to leadership and church and all that. I know I shared with you guys the other day my whole thing about church is like, honestly, I think probably going back to the Bible way and small groups and gathering in the homes and all that might be the move, honestly. But I, just thoughts, man. These are just thoughts right here. Um, but yeah, I think we probably should approach the Bible with a fresh slate, because obviously we can go into things with our own preconceived notions, as people say, and when we do that, it just can taint uh, the word. I heard a message yesterday as well. It was it was a conversation between Pastor David Lynn and another gentleman. And the thing that stood out to me in that conversation, I didn't listen to the whole thing, but the moment that I did catch, um, they were talking about how a lot of these verses, a lot of these, like in the New Testament, a lot of these were letters to, like, between churches and between, in believers. And so, and they just pretty much reiterated how we as believers should handle things amongst ourselves in regards to if we have issue with people or whatever the case is. Like, we need to be, there is a clear, and I saw it the other day actually. It's like a clear way that we should handle situations in the church. Coming to each other directly, then going from there and getting the elders of the church, things like that, handling things in house. And I think that's probably another reason why so much is, like they were saying, so much negativity is seen or about the church, because we as believers don't handle things the way or do things the way the Bible say we should, and I don't know, I just feel like all of this is just something to think about, because at the end of the day, if we truly do, if we're truly sadly mistaken about what we feel the Bible is saying to us, or who God is, or any of those things, then we need to get Him to give us that wisdom and guidance, uh, so we can have a better understanding. Just something to think about. Just something to think about. Now, the Bible verse of today is Matthew 5:10. It says, "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Another thing to think about, y'all. It's so interesting. Those that are persecuted are blessed. There's a lot of things in the Bible that's like that, where it's like things that we think are probably the worst thing is probably like some of the best things, This thing's all about perspective. And so we need to be trying to understand God's perspective and how He looks at things and how He wants us to live and do things, But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. All right, well, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much again. Oh, man. Stretching. Nah, but I don't know. I don't really have anything to say. I'm glad that things are still going. There's still some lines of communication. Um, I'm still trying to stay as informed as I can um, with everything that's going on. But yeah, we just gonna pray and see what God do. You know, like I said, pray God will be done, not my will, not your will, but God's will. Um, so that's what I'm praying, and like I said, I am looking forward to see. You know, but hey, we'll see. We'll see what God do. We'll see what God do. um. Well, okay. Well, I guess I'll share it since I took this whole moment to pause. um, I was kind of I was listening to when I woke up this morning. I ended up listening to a gentleman. I don't know his name, so somebody on YouTube, and he was sharing a lot of Bible and sharing, and everything about everything that's going on, and basically he kind of reiterated that like if you're somebody that's strong and can handle hearing both sides, cool. But if you're not, then you probably should just surround yourself with positive information or not even just positive information, but like we're disconnecting ourselves from the media. But you know where you're at with that, if you're able to take in both information and then discern between everything. But yep, I guess that's a bit of advice to share for today about all of this stuff that's going on. But yep, shout out to all of you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Australia, Mr. Eugene. No, not Eugene. I know this girl named Eugene, so that's why. UN, Mr. UN. Apologize. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Looking forward to talking to you all tomorrow if the Lord's will. Bye bye.